Hi, and welcome to Solar Power in Arizona, brought to you by me.
And me.
And me.
I'd like to talk to you about solar basics. Solar energy can be converted into electricity through either photovoltaic cells, which use sunlight to knock the electrons off of silicon or titanium oxide, or solar energy can also be derived from solar thermal electric power plants, which concentrate solar energy to heat a fluid and produce steam to power a generator. Solar energy isn't quite yet on par with fossil fuel. Florida Power and Light's Martin's plant just opened a new solar thermal unit at their plant, which only produces 75 megawatts of energy, whereas the rest of the plant, which is an oil and gas fire electric generating facility, produces about 3,700 megawatts of energy. The two major limitations of solar energy is that the amount of sunlight varies throughout the day, so we can't produce a constant rate of energy, and the large surface area required to collect energy at useful rates.
Fun fact for you, the cost of solar panels are constantly dropping with new advances in technology. By increasing the efficiency and decreasing the cost per kilowatt, more Americans will start to invest in solar power. But we must also continue to invest as a nation in the manufacturing of solar panels. As solar panel companies increase their economies of scale, the price of panels would decrease and thus allow more individuals to invest in solar energy. Another method is to spearhead the cost issue is through government subsidies. Continued government rebates for renewable energy will quicken the imminent death of fossil fuels.
Let me tell you about a little bit how photovoltaic cells work. Photovoltaic cells are made of silicon, and when the silicon is struck by sunlight, the photons in the sunlight can either pass through it, be reflected, or be absorbed. The absorbed photons dislodge electrons from the silicon's atom. Now, the silicon is specially treated so that these dislodged electrons are naturally drawn towards the top of the cell. This leaves the bottom of the cell with a positive charge due to the lack of electrons, and the top of the cell with a negative charge due to the influx of electrons. This charge imbalance creates a voltage potential like that of two terminals of a battery. So whenever you hook up an external load to the two terminals of the battery, the electricity flows, just like the solar panels. The weather actually affects the efficiency of these PVs. These efficiencies can range anywhere from 5 to around 22% is the highest as of date. Researchers have a goal of efficiency of 30%. Hey Collin, why don't you read us the tweet of the week?
Was that time?
It's time for tweet of the week! Because it kind of relates to this.
So some of our fans have actually tweeted in questions to us, and we're going to go ahead and read some of those now. This one is from @Pepper. Some people say that solar power is actually less efficient in the Valley of the Sun because sunshine here is offset by the heat here. Is that true? Well, actually, @Pepper, it is true. Both monocrystalline and procrystalline cells, as well as amorphous-based thin films, have a temperature coefficient that is negative. Therefore, it is less efficient. So if that answers your question, I hope I can help. If you have any other life advice, please tweet us at gcdeli.solarpowerarizona. Thank you.
A couple of the advantages of photovoltaic cells is that they convert sunlight into electricity directly. So that means that there's no mechanical generators necessary. Another benefit is that the PV arrays can be installed quickly and built to fit any size, whether it's the roof of a building or somewhere in the middle of the desert. And the third and final major advantage of photovoltaic cells is that their environmental impact is relatively low. They require no water for system coolings, and they generate no byproduct. A few of the disadvantages of solar panels is that they're costly and relatively inefficient. But on another front, we have a success story sent in to us from very own Elon Musk. His Solar City company has created a new solar panel that is 22.5% efficient, which is a whole percent higher than the prior leading company, SunPower. And Elon Musk's new solar panels only cost 55 cents a watt. So that comes out to about $550 per kilowatt, which is relatively cheap for solar panels nowadays.
Solar energy is sunshine. The amount of solar energy that the Earth receives each day is many times greater than the total amount of energy consumed around the world. However, the amount and intensity of sunlight varies by location, and weather and climate conditions affect its availability on daily and seasonal basis. The type and size of the solar energy collection and conversion system determines how much of available solar energy, can be converted into useful energy. Let's talk about solar thermal collectors. Low-temperature solar thermal collectors absorb the sun's heat energy to heat water or to heat air for heating in homes, offices, and other buildings. Now, concentrating solar energy technologies use mirrors to reflect and concentrate sunlight onto receivers that collect solar energy and convert it to heat. This thermal energy can then be used to produce heat or electricity with a steam turbine or heat energy engine driving a generator. Photovoltaic cells convert sunlight directly into electricity. PV systems can range from systems that provide tiny amounts of electricity for watches and calculators to systems that provide amount of electricity used by hundreds of homes. Solar thermal power uses solar energy instead of combustion. Plants use sun's rays to heat fluid to high temperatures, and fluid is circulated in pipes so that it can heat water and make steam that is converted into mechanical energy in a turbine and then converted into electricity. There are three main types of solar thermal power systems. One is a parabolic trough, two a solar dish, and a solar power tower.
So now I'm going to talk to you about solar thermal collectors. Solar thermal collectors heat water or air, mostly water for swimming pools, and they can be classified as either passive, which require no mechanical equipment, like windows on a building, which just allows sun's rays to pass through them through natural convection heating the building. Or others can be actives, which uses a collector and a fluid to absorb solar radiation, like a water heating system uses a tank to store heated water. Now these collectors can be classified as non-concentrating or concentrating. Non-concentrating collectors are flat plate collectors with dealing with temperatures less than 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And they have four parts: an absorber, which intercepts and absorbs solar energy; a transparent cover, which allows solar energy to pass through and reduces heat loss from the transparent cover; transparent fluid, which removes the heat from the absorber; and a heat-insulated backing. And the collector area is the same size as the absorber area. Whereas concentrating collectors, the intercepting area is greater, even sometimes 100 times greater than the absorber area, and it focuses solar energy onto the absorber and moves throughout the day to maintain a high degree of concentration. Now let's talk about solar energy and the impact solar energy has on the environment. Now, as we know, solar energy produces no air or water pollution or greenhouse gases, but they may still have some negative impacts. Like some toxic chemicals and materials are used in the manufacturing of photovoltaic cells, and the fluids that are used to transfer heat are potentially hazardous. And clearing for land for construction may have long-term effects on plant and animal life by reducing habitat areas. And the use of water for cooling turbine generators can affect an ecosystem in arid environments.